and I had, you know, Tesao for her sitting on this bench, and I just went with it. I just let it guide me, and I just really was like prowling her through the streets, just like, and I had literally had an erection, and I'm not hiding it, and she's like, Michael, pra frente, like so forward, Michael, and I couldn't speak that many words in Portuguese, and I'm like, um, and I'm like, El te morjo and El te bato, like I'm going to bite you and I'm going to beat you and I'm going to, whatever. and I'm like, and she's so loving it.
You were thinking about something.
When I was in Brazil in 2012, in Brazil, for me, there's just such more an invitation to like, the drum beat and the jungle and the samba and you know, the celebration of
The
life. They
women.
really know how to enjoy,
Right.
and just and,
Beleza.
and in 2012 I was here. I was in Ouro Preto, which is up in the mountains, about an 8-hour drive northwest of Rio. And I'd walk down every day down the cobblestone streets to the little town. And this one day I walked by, and there was a young woman, standing in the doorway of a jewelry store, and we had a connection. And a little bit later, we came across each other. I think she probably wandered out to connect with me, and I was in I don't know, foods. I mean, I was maybe buying some food or something like this. I don't remember how. Like at some point, I came to talk to her or something, but it came to be like every day I would go down to see her. And I remember this one or a few days. I remember this one day in particular. And she got a break from her work. We went and we walked up to this lookout spot, and I had, Tesao for her sitting on this bench, and I just went with it. I just let it guide me, and I just really was like prowling her through the streets, just like, and I had literally had an erection, and I'm not hiding it, and she's like, Michael, pra frente, like so forward, Michael, and I couldn't speak that many words in Portuguese, and I'm like, um, and I'm like, El te morjo and El te bato, like I'm going to bite you and I'm going to beat you and I'm going to, whatever. and I'm like, and she's so loving it, and she's kind of like shy, moving away, and on. We're both, and it's so passionate, and it's like through the streets of this town, and but it was it was kind of like I don't know, a peak experience of me, of just like it was a gift to her that I was giving her all of my Tesao,
Right.
and she felt it and she received it, and there was a magic there, whereas normally that's not how I would operate, like I think there was a way that, okay, I can say like, I want a woman, let me do some logical
Right.
steps or strategies to get the woman, and blah blah blah, rather than just being in my body about it,
Right.
reclaiming that heart on for life and that heart on
Okay,
for life.
how would a man get more and more in touch with that hard on in the both senses? And I can see the technologies for getting in touch with, say, your honor.
Right.
How about the technologies to get in touch with your design?
Well, okay, so, and this has become kind of a popular thing on life. If you'll hear that hell yes or no.
Yes.
Think of like Tesao or não.
Design
Right?
or now.
It really means, in Portuguese, it means hard on or no.
Right.
Like, if you have a hard on for it, it's a yes. If you don't have it, it's a no. So there's no such thing as maybe in
Yes.
this world. You have you like think of it as you have a hard on or you don't. It's a yes or a no. And so all that land of maybe, halfway is a no.
How are there good, better, and worse ways to go look for that Tesao?
Well, you start, you track it, you hunt it in yourself.
Okay.
You begin to notice that physical desire. And when it's not there, you say no to something. So someone invites you to dinner. And, well, yeah, maybe I could come. You feel like a maybe, but you say yes. Okay, you've just, in a way, you violated that principle, right? So the practice is, if I'm a maybe, if I feel like, I don't feel like a hard-on for it, I say no. And if I'm a no, I don't say maybe.
Yes.
So there's two things right there.
So if you're looking for your hell yes, the best place to start, because it will happen, is to look and see which things are not a hell yes. And you say no, 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 until something shows up that's a hell yes for you.
And it's, a lot of guys will be in their head about a hell yes, right? Like there's a way, it takes real like practice to distinguish, is this just something that I think I should want, right? Is this, and a lot of times the things that are motivated by your ego and wanting to look good, there's not that real physical desire in it. There's just, there's this lacking that you want to fill by looking good or looking more than you are. And so we chase after that.
So it's nothing less, and it's nothing more than saying, than seeking, than starting listening to that force that's there, or not, and then go look for it, and then honor it, cultivate it. So there's no real constructive force that's needed except feeling it, celebrating it, acting accordingly. So there's no like creating. I have a question here. If someone says, "Can you have Tesao for this and this?" And the question itself is a question that comes from a place of not really honoring. It's like, should I have the Tesao for this?
Yeah, it's about not being in control.
Right.
It's
right.
Yeah, and it sounds like a dangerous principle, right? Like
Right.
just following your heart on wherever it takes you. But and I don't just mean this in a sexual sense, but I mean it in the sense of like what makes you come alive, right? And like what makes you come alive in your body,
Right.
And a lot of people, we've shut down our body because it's gotten us in trouble, because our aliveness was too much for our parents. We're running around and we're alive, and shh, be quiet,
Right.
Stay in place, behave, whatever. A lot of that training starts very early on in life. And
Feel it now.
yes.
Neo, are you feeling it? Neo, and we know you're out there. We know you can sense something.
So, but here's a practice. Here's a real practice for a guy when you're with a woman and maybe you want to go to bed with her, you want to have sex with her, but you're not physically responding to her. Rather than trying to make that desire happen, just allow for that. Your body has an intelligence all its own. Your body is saying, right now, right here in this moment, this woman does not make me come alive. So just allow that to be. And the more that you do this, the more you let go all of these trying to be in control with our head, and just relax. Like, this woman makes me come alive. or she doesn't. And when you're in the presence of women who you're thinking, well, she's not the most beautiful or sexy or whatever, just start noticing how you feel in the presence of a woman. Mm-hmm. And that for a lot of guys, this is, you know, a lot of times we become so detached from our what we really feel in our body because we're so like in our head about being, our head is in control.
It's very striking to me that both, like we've been talking about wake up rituals, you know, designing your life in a way with all these rituals. Our whole day is full of rituals. That like one of my biggest learnings in those things is like if things are not working for you, if you're not, say, waking up with like let's do this, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Yes. It's your system.
Yes.
It's your system is not so in place that you want to. You're excited to get up. In the same way here is like deferring the agency.
It's
wait. Is deferring the agency is to the system, and in this deferring the agency to that own inner guidance that's there. It's in place, like your system is in place or not. So there's not real, like you don't have to make something happen.
Yes.